And what are the different states of the nafs? This word nafs is at times interchangeable with the word soul. So the nafs is one, but it has three states according to many scholars. Number one, it sometimes commands evil. As Allah SWT says in Surah Yusuf, indeed the soul is a persistent enjoiner of evil. And here it is referred to as Nafs Al Ammaarah. Number two, sometimes it reproaches, it feels regret, as Allah SWT says in Surah Al-Qiyamah, and I swear by the reproaching soul, to the certainty of resurrection. And here it is referred to as Nafs Al Lawaamah. And number three, and sometimes it is reassured and content, as Allah SWT has said, to the righteous it will be said, O reassured soul, return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing to Him. And this is Surah Al-Fajr, where it is referred to as Nafs Al Mutmainnah. So many people are overcome by the state of Ammaarah, the nafs that commands evil, and some by Lawaamah, the nafs that reproaches, feels regret, feels disappointed, and turns back to return to God. And there are a few rare people that are in the state of Mutmainnah, the nafs that is satisfied and content, but they are of the greatest value near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His utmost wisdom tests these nafs, and through these tests the pure is made evident from the impure, and the one that is worthy of being honored and befriended. And through these tests it is made evident the one that is not worthy, and through these tests Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purifies the souls of the purification they deserve. And so with the little that is made known to us, scholars reflect that the gates of the sky are opened for the souls of the believers at the time of death, and the gates of paradise are opened for their bodies in the grave. And as for the disbelievers who denied, the gates of the sky are not opened for their souls, and the gates of paradise are not opened for their bodies in the grave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Araf, surely those who have rejected our signs and stood arrogant against them, the gates of the heavens shall not be opened for them, and they shall not enter paradise unless a camel passes through the eye of a needle. This is how we recompense the sinners. As for the righteous person will thus be rewarded for his good deeds that reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Fatir, towards him ascends the pure word, and the righteous deed uplifts it. So if the good deeds of a person ascend up to the skies, and the gates of the skies are opened for those deeds, and are also opened for such a soul when it departs from the world. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows His mercy and commands that its name be written amongst those of the Iliyin. In Surah Al-Mutaffifin we come to learn, Allah says, Kalla inna kitab al-abrari lafi Iliyin. No, the record of deeds of the righteous is in Iliyin. And the gates of paradise are open for the body in the grave. Thus he continues to receive the fragrances and pleasant breeze of paradise, of Jannah in the grave, as it becomes a part of the garden from the gardens of paradise. But as for the people of disbelief, since the gates of the sky are not open for their deeds, rather they remain closed upon them, then those gates are not open for their souls either when they depart from the world, rather they remain closed upon them. And for further clarity, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly mentions the state of the soul at the time of death in Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَمَّا إِنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُقَرِّبِينَ فَرَوْحٌ وَرَيْحَانٌ وَجَنَّةُ نَعِيمٍ. So in case he, the dying person, is from amongst those blessed with nearness, then for him there is comfort and fragrance and garden of bliss. So the first type is that of that excellent soul that is brought near and comforts awaits it. What about the next category? وَأَمَّا إِنْ كَانَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْيَمِينِ فَسَلَامٌ لَكَ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْيَمِينِ. And in case he is from among the people of the right, then it will be said to him, peace is for you as you are one of the people of the right. The second type is that of that moderate soul from the people of the right, which will be at peace, being saved from punishment and entered into paradise. What about the third category? وَأَمَّا إِنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ الضَّالِينَ فَنُزُلٌ مِّنْ حَمِيمٍ وَتَصْلِيَةُ جَحِيمٍ. But if he is one of the deniers, the astray, then for him there is entertainment from boiling water and burning in the hell. So the third type is that of the unjust, zalim, transgressing soul, and due to its denial and misguidance, Allah SWT has promised it a severe punishment. Allah further says, indeed this is certainly in its true sense, so proclaim purity of the name of your Lord, the Magnificent. So ask yourself, how do you want to be welcomed in the next world? With the highest level being promised fragrances and gardens of bliss, or with the level being promised some peace and rest, or with the level being promised punishment of hot boiling water? Think about it. How do you plan to work today for the best outcome tomorrow? And reflect on what should we strive to attain. Shouldn't it be the best? And what should we desire to hear when we leave this world and all its belongings and our loved ones behind? What kind of reassurance do you want when your term is over and you're heading into the realm of the next world? So from all this we learn that the soul and the body are together at times, and at times they are separate. They are separate before coming into this world, and then as the body develops in the womb of the mother, the soul is blown into it. Then a person dies after completing his time here, and that is when the soul leaves the body. Then it is brought back to the body in the grave in barzakh for the questioning, and then it leaves again to go and settle in its abode until the day of judgment, at which time it will join the body again when the body is resurrected. And so for the stages of life, scholars reflect on each person having 4 prominent stages, each greater than the previous. 1, in the womb of the mother, where there is tightness, engaged in a small space with 3 darknesses. Number 2, in the home of this world, where the person grows, earns his share of good or evil, and hence his means of happiness or misery. Number 3, the home of the barzakh, a world that is the womb of the earth, more spacious and vaster compared to the womb of the mother. Number 4, and finally, the home of eternity and permanence, either the beauty and bliss of paradise or the torment and punishment of hell. And then there is no home after this. So each abode, each home is so different to the next, and Allah SWT transfers the souls from one stage to the next until it reaches the final abode that it is worthy of, that it was prepared for, and having performed the deeds that lead it there to its last destination. So value the ruh, the soul, and value its purity and hear its voice, and be amazed by yet another world of the creation of Allah, the creation of the soul, the world of khalaqa ruh, a world in the ghaib, an unseen world, a beautiful creation of Allah, without which we would cease to exist.